Welcome to the Caddo Convos, the podcast that explores the vibrant community of businesses thriving in Caddo Office Reimagined. We're here to shine a light on the incredible entrepreneurs and professionals who make the most of our private offices, co-working spaces, and day office rentals in the Dallas-Fort Worth suburbs. Join us as we share their stories, celebrate their successes, and dive into the benefits of working in a space that's close to home but offers so much more than working from home. Let's get started with today's conversation. Joining me today on the Caddo Convos is my friend Rick Havard of the Lifetime Impact Project. How you doing, Rick?
I'm doing great. Thank you, buddy.
Awesome. Glad to have you here. Tell me, what is the Lifetime Impact Project and what's unique about it?
The Lifetime Impact Project is an effort to encourage legacy-minded grandparents to record their stories, their values, their experiences in their voice and in their image so that the next generation will always be able to hear them.
What spawned this idea for you to do this?
Well, it was COVID.
Yeah.
We had finished doing all of the projects at our house. We had painted. We had redone the shelf paper. We were all walking around with bad haircuts, and I was going for long walks, and I was looking for something to listen to, and I came across 6 CDs of stories that my granddad had recorded at his kitchen table during the last 2 years of his life. And he had done them on an old, you remember the old cassettes, right? He had done them on that, and my Uncle Larry had taken them and had them burn onto a CD and given to all of us. And, it was a really cool gift, and, I should have rushed to listen to it, but I was still grieving him being gone. Sorry. Didn't mean to do that, but
sorry for your loss.
I was, it's been 13 years, but I had the chance to listen to him on my walks. And, this was a kid that left home when he was 14 during the Great Depression. And his vernacular was colorful. The way that he told his stories, the way that he put them together were so good. And so it really did change that experience of COVID. There was one part where he even talked about the Spanish flu. And I was like, aha, we're not the first ones to go through something like what we're going through during COVID.
Yeah.
So that started it. And then I started doing some recordings for some clients, family members, and those type of things, and figuring out how this process should work. And so it's evolved over the past several years where I've created a program where I just encourage them to share first. They don't have to have an account with me. They don't have to move assets to me as a financial advisor. They just have to want to be able to pass on these memories, make a memento out of their experiences. And so we start off with a podcast type of experience and take them through and interview them. We do it 20 questions on that, and then we coach them on, and that part's called being a sharer. Once they've gone through the sharer part of it, we'll talk to them about being a builder. We'll give them an app. It's a nationally known app. I'm not going to plug the name on it right here, but we'll give them an app that they can get prompts and do lots of recordings, and we'll be encouraging them to be able to do that so they become a builder at that time. And then we come back in on the builder side of things, and we fill in the blanks on some places that have been tough financial problems that people have had with poor planning, and work to fill in those gaps while we're doing that. And if they just love what we're doing and they're crazy about it and they really want to build larger legacies and those type of things, then we have another section called the benefactor, where we combine all of them and look for ways to be able to maximize their estate, maximize their gifting, maximize how they share with their family.
And so this is preparing media, interviews, all of these different types of things for their legacy.
Their legacy.
Yeah.
We're going to show them where to store it and how to store it too. We're going to give them a digital vault to keep those things in. When we educate on the digital vault part of keeping those things, we also show them how to be able to kind of put this emergency access plan to documents, the healthcare physician documents, the power of attorney documents, the wills and those type of things, how to have those stowed inside of the digital vault as well. And put together a game plan for access, in the event that somebody needs to come alongside them and help them.
And you're preparing them, you're giving them structure to what exists now. And I'm thinking like my mother. My mother's recording and capturing all types of things.
Yes.
But none of it is curated.
Right.
It's a mass of all of these things. And that's also the situation with, as we're looking towards preparing for end of life situations and big decisions, it's everything they own. All of their financials are in the same boat as those pictures.
Right.
They've collected,
yeah,
but not curated and planned. And
yeah.
you help them there as well.
They need to know the story behind the assets too. Okay, but my industry is so driven on assets under management, and it's important, and I want to be able to do that. I'm not going to kid you. I mean, that's been something that I've been doing for 30 years, but I want to make an impact. And so places that have made an impact for me are in good planning. Like I can go into a long story about my father-in-law from Dimmitt, Texas, who did not do a very good job of organizing his stuff and caused a lot of grief, versus my dad, who had it nailed down, and had it where you could get to it and knew what to do about it. And it's just a lot easier to write a nice obituary for somebody that has their stuff together than somebody that left you with pain.
Right.
We were going out to see the in-laws for Easter, and he had a situation. He aspirated and had a car wreck and had a helicopter flight that took him all the way over to Amarillo. And so we get there. My mother-in-law doesn't know where any form of any documentation is, and we're in his office in the middle of the night going through filing cabinets trying to find his documentation so that we can help him. And so that's one of the reasons why I do what I do. I don't want anybody to go through that kind of stuff. I got a really tough story about him on the wills, and I'm not going to tell that one today either, because I almost started crying talking about my granddad. But if I talk about that pain, I might cry again.
Yeah, we'll do a follow-up episode. Rick can come join us later and talk about that and do a deeper dive. So it sounds like, from your profession, you've learned a lot of things about preparation. And taking care of your finances. Tell me a little bit about that and how that led you to this. I mean, obviously COVID was a big switch.
So most of my career, I've been helping people with their retirement income plans. Yeah. And what'll happen is that once you got the income situation covered and that they've got their lifestyle down, they know what they're going to get. If they are not super tight and there's room for legacy planning, you move that next level into legacy planning. And so, and if you do research right now on what's going on, the largest transfer of wealth in history is coming from one generation down to the next.
Essentially the boomers.
Yeah. And so when I do my plans for income, we kind of treat it like your assets are like your golf bag. Each one of those clubs inside there has a certain role and a certain job to play. And then we just move on into when we go into the legacy planning of assigning those roles and really defining that very well. And so in the event of incapacity or in the event of death, it's not super disruptive on the assets being managed, just like a business succession plan. We've got our business together. And so one of the things that I do, if they get up into the benefactor level, we do an asset map. And inside the asset map, we put like all their contacts of anybody that does anything with them financially. We also will put in like all the beneficiary information and make sure that that's good and tight. We'll review all their beneficiary stuff with them at that time. And then we'll look for, are there assets in here that you're being crazy with, that you're taking ridiculous risk, and, maybe you should, pull the horns in a little bit, but still make a large impact to your estate. So, that's where I want to spend the next 10 years of my life. I've been doing that retirement planning thing. I can do it in my sleep,
Right.
and that's through 25 years of every bit of turmoil that we've seen
Sure.
at the same time.
Yeah.
So,
And that's led you to the Lifetime Impact Project, because all the preparation people do for their finances, and like you said, the golf bag, the right tool for the right job, put to the right,
yeah.
right plan. Now, as you're working on the Lifetime Impact Project, you're helping them prepare their memories, the legacy of their stories, the untold stories.
Right.
And off camera, before we started the show, I'd mentioned my grandparents had stories they hadn't told their own kids.
Right.
And they happen to tell grandkids. So you don't want to skip a generation on these really great stories or miss it entirely.
Right.
And
Right.
that's what you're doing. So again, so let's say I'm my parents at this point, or as I'm looking around my house, and I'm looking at all this material I have that's things on my shelf, books that were passed down to me, photo albums and whatnot. How do I prepare to begin my journey with you in the Lifetime Impact Project?
Well, depending on how deep of a dive, everybody's different on how involved they want to get on it. There may be somebody that takes it and runs with it and goes 100 miles an hour, but um, I'll give you
Just walk me through the basic
I'll give
steps.
you an example.
Yeah.
Okay. I was at Mom's house the other day, and my dad had a chest of drawers that he had his stuff in, and there's 3 pairs of Spurs in one of the drawers. And so you just take the video camera and you go, I'm going to tell you a story about what this item is. Don't let it go down the tubes. Don't let it go to the flea market. Don't let it go out the estate sale. Keep this in the family if you can. And so the 3 pairs of Spurs were that my granddad, my dad's dad, had moved to Houston. He was a cowboy. He had been on a couple of cattle drives. He was broke. He got married. He had a kid. He had to find a real trade, and he went over to Robert E. Lee High School in Baytown, Texas, and took a welding class. And after he took the welding class, he had a certification that put him into being able to be a welder at ExxonMobil, where he spent the next 40 years welding. Well, when he got home, the man had some art in his heart, and he created spurs for his son. He had made those for my dad. So I've got granddad's spurs. They're dad's spurs that his dad made for him. And I don't want that story to drift away from the item. So when you record that, and then you got to put your recordings into a place that can be passed on to the next generation, and then you got to be able to tell them how to get to it. And do it yourself type of deal would be like a Dropbox. You set up a Dropbox and you make your video recordings, and then you can upload your videos to that. That's one thing that we would do. One thing I talk to people about too is social media, is that, there's a next of kin thing that you need to set up on your social media, and nobody knows about it or does it. But I've talked to a lot of people that get real upset. Somebody hacks their social media. They lose all of their pictures and everything from there, because somebody did that to them. And so putting a backup on that, making sure that you have a beneficiary that can sign into your social media, is an important thing. So we just start going through these different checklists. We try to make it fun. We want to make it enjoyable. And so we want to bring them in to the studio first and just do the 20 questions and see if they have a taste for it, and if they do, then we'll go deep, and then the gift that we give them with the prompts, it literally records their video. And then it transcribes it, and it makes a book for them. And the hardbound book, you can go in and hit a QR code, and it will pull up that video that they made for it. Plus, we have a whole electronic version of it too, that we work to make sure that they keep copies of it and download it inside their digital vault. So,
wow, what a gift. To a family.
Yeah. It's so now I'm at this place where, I'm on the finance committee at my church, and I start talking about the kingdom version of this. because planned gifting is something that nobody talks about. And, and so if you got your income covered and you got your assets covered and you're making sure that you're building your legacy, then you can get into doing some more things with those dollars that you're going to Washington.
Yeah.
You can redirect them and go do something good that you want it to do.
Tithing, donate, put it where there's need.
Right. And you don't have to give it away. Okay. I mean, because now that gets into some fun planning.
Right.
Okay.
That's the other side of, it goes back to your expertise and your career.
Yeah.
Right?
So, I mean, you got an endowed scholarship where you went to college, you can start doing those type of things. But a lot of people don't, that they get so survival mode in their assets that they don't even know sometimes that they made it. They pulled it off and they got room and they can rearrange things in different ways. They don't have to give up anything that goes to their kids. There's really cool planning tactics that you can use. And so this allows me to get to doing those fun cases, but at the same time, I can have fun every single day just meeting people and taking them through the front end of the process.
Right. By helping them care for and curate their legacy, you can also investigate and learn from them, where their heart is, but also where they are in their financial situation and help them there as well.
Yeah. I mean, my favorite grandparents are the ones that move cross country because a 4-year-old's about to start playing soccer for the very first time.
Yeah.
I mean, that kind of love is crazy.
Yeah. It's a worthy move.
Yeah. So, my kids play soccer all the way through. And so I have a couple of grandparent clients, that they were always on the sidelines. And that's just always so fun, is that type of engagement. So my granddad was a family man. My dad was a family man. I'm a family man.
Yeah.
And it's important.
Would you say that that's your number one driver? The thing that gets you out of bed in the morning and puts a smile on your face is what exactly? I mean, I've seen you smile the whole time you've been talking. So, I mean, the list has got to be a mile long by now, just in this podcast.
I mean, I have a real interest in what's going on from the financial end of things. And so, I want to see what's going on. And then, you get your theories about which direction things are going to go. And then you invest accordingly to it. And so you're always checking those type of results. And that's cool. Okay. That's a lot of fun. But it doesn't put the fire in my belly to go out and see somebody or, I don't have to have new clients, but I want to do this next step here. And really, and part of my goals is to coach other financial advisors on how to do it also. So I'm just looking at I don't know, golden years for me. I'm 58, and so I want to make sure that what I'm doing right now, while it's important to make sure everybody has their income and everything for their retirement, I want to add that value.
Yeah.
I want to add that gift.
And the gift is a legacy of stories that can be passed down infinitely. And again, the misunderstanding I think a lot of people have with all this social media and so much media, we're creating more media now than we've ever created. But if it's not curated, and again, a lot of those physical items that there may be a picture of, but what's the story behind it? Right. And it sounds like that is what you're doing here, is helping people capture that.
Among other things. Digitization of and commemoration of memories. Everywhere you look right now, and I can sell you one of these too, is you can invest in one of these storage places, right? So a lot of these storage places are filled up with things that people don't know what to do with, and they hang on to it. Well, if mom or dad says, hey, listen, this is what this is, you don't have to keep that, just let it go. But I want you to know about it, I mean, that's one thing that can actually help some people that they otherwise don't know what to do with it. I mean, my dad's corner of the garage, I'm just afraid to touch it right now. And he's been gone for 6 years. And I should probably do something about that for my mom. And so if you go through and you do an inventory of assets and you say, look, this is a keeper, that's not a keeper, give this to somebody that helped us, you can do some pretty nice things. And give some peace on that department.
Yeah. And having lost somebody, it's like you said, you're the corner of the garage. An example is my mother has my grandpa's toolboxes, handmade. He's a carpenter.
Yeah.
But I don't know the story of, I'm pretty sure he made them himself, but it would be great. And that's what you're preventing in the future is not knowing. Was if there's 5 of them, which one's the keeper?
Yeah.
Which one actually was,
Yeah.
that was his first one that he made in high school, as opposed to just, well, I'll get rid of a few, like that, as in, or like you said, take them out to Canton and now there's a bunch of wooden toolboxes that are for sale that
Right.
might be priceless.
Right.
So it's really, I really appreciate what you're doing and your why. It's good to see that you're taking your entire career of taking care of people's, what's under their roof and what they have.
Right.
With their assets and things that they want to pass along, but taking it a step further with telling stories about them, their lives, the things of value, and the things that don't have value that they need to let go of. So, Rick, it's been great talking to you.
Thanks so much. I appreciate
I do
your time.
hope you'll come on in the show in the future and tell us how where you go from here and the people that you've helped, and looking forward to hearing those stories.
Thanks, buddy. I appreciate you.
Thank you for joining us today on the Caddo Convos podcast. A huge shout out to our incredible network of members for making our community vibrant and supportive. If you're looking to boost your productivity and reduce the isolation of working from home, consider joining us at Caddo Office Reimagine. Our spaces are designed to meet your evolving needs, support remote work, and foster a sense of community that's hard to find at home. Whether you're a startup aiming for growth, a freelancer seeking a professional setting, or a company looking to optimize resources, Caddo offers a perfect blend of flexibility and innovation. By joining us, you'll be a part of a dynamic business ecosystem that helps you thrive. For more information, visit caddooffices.com. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time on Caddo Convos.